DCI Andy Redwood. We're now approaching 5 years since the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. How did the Metropolitan Police get involved in the investigation?
Well, in 2011, in May, the previous Commissioner, Sir Paul Stevenson, made an operational decision for the Met Police to become involved. Once that decision had been made, it was then passed to myself within the Homicide and Serious Crime Command. Part of our terms of reference is to deal with high-risk missing persons, and in addition to that, we've also got experience in conducting critical incident reviews. So I'm currently leading a team of 37 police officers and police staff, and we are seeking for the first time to gather together 3 distinct areas of material in relation to Madeleine's disappearance. So firstly, it is the Portuguese law enforcement material that started obviously in 2007. Their live investigation closed in 2008 and currently as of today remains closed, but nevertheless there's an awful lot of material that has been gathered that we've drawn together in one place. There is also the UK law enforcement material from a number of areas that we've drawn together, as well as private investigators. A number of different companies have been used by the family from the outset of this. And drawing all those 3 things together and overlaying them in one place is never been effectively done before.
I see. So what are you doing as part of this review? I mean, it sounds like a lot of work. What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, on a day-to-day basis, what we are seeking to do is to systematically and logically work through the material, effectively page by page, to try and identify investigative opportunities. It's important to point out at this stage that obviously the lead agency in the disappearance is the Portuguese police. The Portuguese police are known as the Polícia Judiciária, and I have a counterpart in Porto, Northwest Portugal, who leads a review team. What we are seeking to do, working in close collaboration with them, is to work through the material and try to identify investigative opportunities. Where we identify those opportunities, to ensure that we then pass them to our colleagues to complement the work that they are doing, and then working together towards a position where we would very much like the case to be reopened.
Yeah, we hope you're successful, but as part of this review, there's a massive amount of information to get through. I mean, how are you going through this material? You describe it as material. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
Yes, I mean, we're about a quarter of the way through at the moment, and I would estimate that having these 3 strands in one place, the estimate at the moment is that we're looking at around 40,000 different pieces to this. Somewhere in the region of 100,000 pages of material to get through. I say get through, to properly analyse, and obviously some of that material is in Portuguese, so there is a translation situation there as well. But so far, as I say, a quarter of it done, and within that I think we've identified around 195 investigative opportunities from the historical material, and there is some other very promising new lines of inquiry which is very good for the future, because that hopefully will enable us to be able to work with the Portuguese to have the case reopened.
I understand. I mean, a lot of people have been touched by the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. What can people do to help? I mean, tell me about, is there a new appeal being launched?
Yes, I mean, the very important reason why we are speaking publicly today, and this is being done in full collaboration with our Portuguese colleagues, is that in addition to it being the 5th anniversary, Madeleine McCann would be 9 years old on the 12th of May 2012. On the evidence that we've reviewed to date, we believe that there is a possibility that she's alive. When we started this investigative review, we had two clear areas that we focused on. One was that Madeleine is alive, and the second is that sadly she's not. And I say in the former of those, that she's alive, and on the basis of the evidence and material that we've reviewed, and that possibility being very clear, we have sought the services of an accredited UK forensic expert in age progression imagery. She has worked very closely with the family to produce the image of Madeleine as we think she would look at 9 years old. So the appeal today is clear. I would like the public to look carefully at this image, and if they believe they know where Madeleine McCann is, or if they have information or evidence that directly helps us to understand what happened to her, then I would ask them to contact us today. And the second part to our appeal today is that we are still seeking to try and populate the area of Prada Luz between the 28th of April 2007 and the 3rd of May 2007. We know that in Prada Luz there is a large United Kingdom population there, both of permanent people that live in the resort, but also holiday makers. So if you were there in that area at those times, and if in particular if you were around the Mark Warner facilities within the Ocean Club, and you haven't been spoken to by either Portuguese police or the UK law enforcement, i.e. the police, then we would urge you to make contact with us.